I'm Racer 6-foot Num Num, and today we're at the Fraser Valley Food Show in the Abbotsford Tradex. It's happening between October 4th and October 6th. And all we have here is we have national and international cuisine, we have cheese and wine tastings, you have a lot of expos, a lot of celebrities on stage, and then free samples, right? You had me at free. So we're gonna go check it out and we're gonna have some fun. Gluten-free pizza crust, right? It's the way of the future. So. It's really soft. Like, I almost prefer it than regular pizza crust. That's really good. Oh, these are cool. It's like salad or soup in a bag. Yeah, like you just use all this and it's already made for you. Right? That's neat.
This is actually fantastic if you whip it into your mashed potatoes.
Oh, wow.
This is secret mashed potato recipe right here. Anybody else want to try a Neuchâtel?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You really do.
I'm very lucky because I've got a good friend of mine who writes for a very prestigious magazine out of New York, and I consider him to be one of the best food writers in the world, as well as a good friend of mine, Jacob Richler, out of Toronto. So I actually use these guys a lot to sort of hear what they're thinking and saying. And one of the things that Jim Porras, is my friend who writes from Food Arts, has always said is that at the end of the day, it's you need to be yourself as a chef. And what that means is you don't want to try and recreate the wheel. And I think what I see a lot of these days is I think chefs trying to recreate something because they want attention from media or
past successes of other people.
But I think that if you're asking me what the trends are, I think what the trends are is simplicity, very simple flavors, very raw, very robust, and going back to our cultures that I think make Canada what it is, right? You know, whether that be Indian, Thai, Japanese, Italian, and just keeping it simple. And I think you're going to start to see that more and more, and less fuss, more quality ingredients. I mean, part of what we do at Cactus, for example, is this whole value perception that we have in terms of food, but we keep the food very simple, you know, still with great flavor profiles. But I really believe that that's, for me, the next phase and the next wave is just more, eating more local, eating more sustainable, and keeping it simple on the plate. One of the things that I feel grateful for is, I mean, you know, growing up here, there's just, for me, it's all about experience. So there's certain scents. I know that sounds weird, but like there's certain things, like this time of the year is when I smell things like, you know, apple pie. I know it sounds oddly enough because you know, apples are sort of all over the place now. Squash, different types of greens. We're right at the tail end of corn right now. So these are all things for me I just naturally grew up with.
Yeah.
What I like is that, you know, there's just more of abundance of them now than there used to be, and people are much more conscious about what they eat. So you're seeing just this revitalization, if you will, in terms of our food. And then you're starting to see things like asparagus that's local that you never thought that people would grow. You know, this is not the time of year for it, but there's just, I think, things that you're seeing that, you know, and all these different greens. Like I said, I live in South Surrey, so I live at Crescent Beach right now. So just on my drive out here today, I went through probably 8 or 9 farms when I was here, coming here, and it's like, it's just, I don't know. For me, it's part of who I am. It's part of who I've always been.
It's a huge focus in Vancouver as well, like organic, farm raised, very local. With your success in Cactus Club, what's in the future for you?
Well, we're very busy.
It's
I mean,
big,
we're busy. We just, you know, our restaurant out in Abbotsford, which we opened almost 2 years ago now, and then we've got Langley, which we just opened 4 months ago, and then I'm just on my way to Edmond to open that shortly, and then we've got Saskatoon, Toronto.
Very busy. Yeah.
If you ask me what's on my schedule right now, it's pretty much filled with our development. You know, I continue to develop more recipes. I continue to work with our chefs all the time, so that's, you know, it takes a big part of my job. So that's I don't have time for anything but my family. Yeah. And my 3 kids.
Family and work, right? That's
right.
all you need, and you balance it out.
That's right.
Thank you for speaking with us.
All right, thank you guys.
I would introduce you, and I tried to pronounce your last name.
No, it's Chef Corbin.
Chef Corbin.
Only Chef Corbin.
But how do you pronounce your last name?
Tomaszewski.
Tomaszewski? I remember that for now. So So because you're from Toronto, but now you're here, what are the differences in the cuisine that you've seen from Toronto to Vancouver?
Well, I was born and raised in Alberta, so I'm actually way familiar with West Coast mentality.
Yeah.
I think what I appreciate most about British Columbia and Alberta and the western part of Canada is that whole appreciation of locality. And we have it in Ontario, which is great, but I find that because you're surrounded by so many rural areas here, that there's a better appreciation for those fine ingredients. You don't take it for granted. You really have that sense of community, but more importantly, you understand that it's about food that brings people together.
And it's definitely all local. You see that in the West Coast, right?
100%.
I don't know what Toronto's like. I haven't been there.
You got to get your butt on a
I
plane.
assume it's like urban density.
It is.
It
But
is,
then we've
though.
got a great food scene. And what I love about, for example, Toronto is there are so many different multicultural places to go and eat. You can go and have Jamaican, you can have Italian, you can have Korean, you can have Indian, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah.
Even English food.
Which is
Bangers and mash.
bangers and mash.
Fish and chips. Chips and curry.
Chips and curry. The biggest part of what you do is you're talking about fun in the kitchen, bringing it back and making an experience. What's the most notable experience for you in the kitchen? Because it's all about smells and taste.
For me, it's I call them the aha moments where people go, it really isn't that difficult. I can do this. I just converted, Wayne. Wayne doesn't cook. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You see Wayne, he was my culinary virgin up there. He's going to make this soup tomorrow night for his wife.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's how I know I've done my job, because he doesn't cook, he doesn't have a lot of confidence, but he understood what I was talking about.
Absolutely.
And he has to remember that the rule is that there are no rules. You cook for people. You don't cook for yourself or we've lost the focus.
How did you come up with that policy, the no rules policy, or is that just like
No, that's
your
how I was
mantra
raised.
for life? Oh, really?
That's how the reason I got into food was because I watched my mother and my grandmother and all those other people in my family cook.
Yeah.
They don't measure. They don't do anything. They just cook with these people.
No, my grandma is the same. She's like, and a little bit of this, and I'm like, how many spoonfuls?
Never
She's
follows
like,
a
it doesn't
recipe.
matter.
It doesn't matter. Because,
Exactly.
And is she stressed? No. Is the food always so amazing? Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because there's no rules. And at the end of
I
the
like
day,
the
if you
smell.
don't like it, get the hell out. Nobody ever does that because they want free food.
Exactly.
People love free food.
Why do you look samples? Have you tried the samples yet?
No, I haven't. I've been
Oh,
cooking like
free
crazy.
food.
I'm going.
Go. But anyways, thank you so much for having a chat with us. I'm Asa 604 Nom Nom, and this is your Fraser Valley Food Show experience. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more amazing events. And if you know one that we should cover, leave a comment below and release you in an Omster.
.604 Num Num.
Oh, wow. Oh, what?